Hi everybody, I wanted to do a quick update video on just how everything's been now, years later after being diagnosed with PTSD. I've made a few videos on this in the past, but I want to be a little bit more, not so what the big story is with it, but just how it is later on in life. How is it affecting me years later? It's been a long time since I was diagnosed. I was a lot younger and didn't know how to handle it as well as I feel like I am now. And with all of the recent hardships that have been going on in my life, it's been one of those things where my PTSD has been a little bit worse in moments and has acted up. So it's kind of good to just take a breath and move forward. So for me, my PTSD has gotten better in a sense. It's gotten worse in a sense. It's gotten better whereas I can deal with it more. I have less big panicky like flashbacks. Those happen a lot less. In the beginning it was all the time and it was terrifying and it was this out of body like, oh my goodness, you're back in that room and everything's around you and someone could be talking to you but they look like the person who hurt you. I still get those, but it's rare. It's very, very, very sporadically. Normally it's only nightmares now that I relive what happened. But I'm sure in life I will have another PTSD attack like that eventually. But it is much more rare, whereas before it was constant. So that's a positive. A negative is I've kind of brought myself back a little bit because I hate asking for help. That's why with some of the things I'm going through, it's been really difficult because I have a hard time saying, hey, this bothers me. Like this noise bothers me, or hey, when you shut that cabinet really loudly, it really scared me. I really have a hard time trusting and talking and opening up like that, I suppose. So I know I still need to work on that. I have actually been talking to a counselor who has been really helping me through this. She's been helping me see that it's not my fault per se. Like it's okay to be sad sometimes. It's okay to be lonely or to be afraid or whatever it may be. And that's helped me a lot. Something I also found that really helped me is to take a walk. Instead of just sitting down and thinking about everything going on, if my mind's really rushed, go somewhere safe. If you don't live in the best neighborhood, then drive to somewhere safe or have someone drive you, whatever it may be, and go somewhere you feel comfortable. I go a couple minutes up the road and there's a nice pathway there, and I take a walk and just breathe. Just inhale, exhale, and just see what's going on outside. Pay attention to the leaves and the trees and just how everything else is so peaceful in that moment. And it can be hard when you live towards a city, or for me when I'm going through a lot, like it's hard to take those moments for yourself. But I think it's really important. Or if there's something you love, like sitting by the lake, make sure to set aside that time. Not saying it should be your only priority and the only thing that you do, but you should set aside time for yourself so you can do that. For me, if I go like skipping stones on the waterfront by the lake, and I like feeding the fish, so that's something that I do that really relaxes me and it makes me happy, and it's good to take time for that. But I have kids, so I have to prioritize them as well. So I feel like a lot of people think about their jobs and their kids and their families and think, oh well, taking time for me is wrong. There are ways to take time for you and keep being the best mom or dad or parent or sibling or best friend that you are. It's just taking even an hour a week to just do something yourself for you, whether it's watch YouTube, I've been watching Anthony Padilla a lot. He's got a really, really good outlook on just people and how their minds work, and he's really not biased, and he's been opening up a lot of doors that I think are really needed to be opened and talked about. And he's really been interviewing a lot of people in a way that's not judgmental, and I really appreciate that. So I'll sit down and I'll watch him for however long his video is, and maybe even rewatch one, just to understand people better, but to also, I don't know, just get a good positive look at life. It's really, really, really unique, and I really enjoy it. So I would check it out. He's a huge YouTuber. I'm sure everybody knows him. But that's something I really feel he's doing a lot of greatness with. So I do that to help kind of ground myself. And then, since I love horses so much, I play Horse Haven on my phone, and that's something I really enjoy. It's just a good way for me to focus on something very lighthearted that I love, and it just keeps me positive and keeps me going. And just take a couple minutes for that. Watch a 20-minute video, play 10 minutes of a game, and then I'll journal for a half hour, and there went my hour. And I focused on things that I needed to think about because they've been on my mind, and it's easier to think about things, for me at least, while doing something. So with my PTSD, it helps a lot too. If I'm thinking of something really difficult, I'll pull up that game, and I have basic tasks I have to do on it, so I'll do the basic tasks, so I'm thinking about something else while I'm still processing these really panicky, difficult thoughts. And it kind of helps me to multitask and stay in perspective. I know not everybody can do that, or not everybody wants to do that. Not that they can't, but not everyone likes it or gets what I do from it. But it really helps me to not just be there sitting and thinking about the issue and that's it, because that's when you panic, or that's when I panic at least. So I try to sit down and actually, like I said, focus on the simple tasks of the game. I need to, collect this amount of whatever type of feed and level up these 2 horses, whatever it may be. It helps me to do that while I'm thinking about something very difficult, like a court case, or my PTSD, let's say, is acting up, and I'm thinking about what happened and what's triggering it in that moment. It helps me to have something little to do. Or even if you have any game that you like, that can help. Another one, it's a game of hexagons, and you create hexagon patterns, and just recreating a pattern and getting colors to match, just doing something where your brain is focusing on something else while you're panicked, helps me to be able to really calm down the crazy, overwhelming feeling that you don't enjoy, or that I don't enjoy. I think that's really helpful, because I love helping people, and I really believe in people, and I just sometimes overthink things. I don't feel like I'm doing enough, and I feel like I should set myself aside, and I just start overthinking. So it helps me to kind of not 100% just get lost in my thoughts, but be like, all right, well, maybe I'm thinking about that really awful thing that happened, but right now I'm here, I'm not there, I'm looking at this game, or I'm journaling or drawing this picture, let's say. I'm sketching this picture, and I'm sitting here, and I'm right here, and maybe my mind's in a scary place, but right here, right now, is where I really am. And that's helped me a lot. It's really made things a lot clearer. It's given me the ability to sit down and kind of just free myself, because I can realize, hey, it's okay. It's okay to have gone through something really bad. It's okay that it's bothering me right now, but I'm not back there. I'm here drawing this picture, playing this game, and that helped a lot. That back in the day, I'd start thinking about something or thinking about what gave me PTSD, and wow, I would just flash back there and be gone, and it would be the most traumatic thing in the world. And like I said, that still will happen. You'll still have those moments, but they're way fewer now that I can actually kind of ground myself, be like, hey, well, I'm right here right now, I'm not back there. It doesn't always work. There are times that you're gonna have a bad day, you're gonna be back there, but most of the time it's been helpful. So maybe think of something that distracts you. Maybe it's a Rubik's Cube or a puzzle, or just something that means a lot to you, and use that to focus and do not something like, I have a deadline where I have to get this done, but something like a game or a picture to draw, or like I said, in a Rubik's Cube, something where you can focus on it, a puzzle, and enjoy it, and you have a task that you need to complete, but there's no pressure. It's something you want to do. It just really helps get your mind into a good place, for me at least. I also find that rereading some of my old thoughts, first to rewind a little, writing down some of what I exactly feel very bluntly, writing it down, not sugarcoating it, just stuff that I'd say to myself, like, hey, right now, this is what I feel. It's scary, it's, awful, it's traumatic, it's scary, it's this big thing for me, and I'm not okay. And writing down those blunt feelings and then rereading them when you're not in a good place can help, because it's like, wow, I've been here before and I got through it and it's okay. Or even, hey, I don't feel as bad as I did back then. That means I'm doing better now. You can criticize this or think it's wrong. It won't work for everybody, but it helps me. I reread my old PTSD journal that I was doing for it was kind of like a healing therapy that I was trying to do, and rereading where I was then, it really helped, because maybe I'm not in a great place, or maybe I wasn't in a great place when I was reading it, but a lot of things that were like in my head unthinkable to fix had been fixed and not even an issue anymore now, and that's amazing to look back on. So it helps to journal down what you actually really feel and jot it down, keep it down, because you can revisit it. I know everyone always says, well, don't just focus on the negative, or don't surround yourself with that, and that's true. But it is important to write down the things that you feel you can't get over, and you're never going to be able to get beyond, because once you are a few years down the road, like myself, and you reread those thoughts, it's like, wow, right now I'm feeling like I can't get beyond whatever this is, but a few years ago I felt that about something different that I got beyond, and that's really cool. Maybe it's hard to read, but I got through that. I'm stronger now because of that. It really, really, really helps. And I just wanted to make this video to just it's not diving deep into every aspect of why I have uncomplicated PTSD and what it is, and what the best things and the worst things are to deal with it, because that could take forever. And there are so many different ways that help me. Getting tattoos helps me. The machine is like therapeutic. Just feeling the tattoo machine and hearing the noise, it's just very therapeutic for me. Some people would hate that, and that would cause anxiety to them, and some people would love it. I could go on and on about the little details, but I just wanted to make a video focusing on just not forgetting where you are. It's important with PTSD to acknowledge that this is real. You're not wrong for feeling what you do, because what you feel is a result of something that really happened to you that was really awful, and you're really strong for being here and getting through it. So just keep your head held high and know, hey, I got through that, and if I got through that, then getting over the aftermath of it is possible too. And you're never going to fully not have PTSD. It's not just, with the flip of a wand you're done. But you can learn how to cope with it and actually use it as a way to understand people more and understand yourself more. So just embrace it and try to look at it in the most positive way possible. I'm trying. It's not always easy. It's hard to really be positive about something that feels so negative, but I think it's really good to make yourself look at yourself and validate it. Validate that what you're feeling is real, and what you're feeling has purpose, and give yourself credit where it's due. You got through whatever event caused you to have PTSD, whether it's one or many. For me, it was one event that caused my life to change. But maybe for someone else, it was prolonged exposure to something, or maybe it was, who knows? But you got through it. You got through whatever it was, and your brain decided this is the way it was coping with it, because it couldn't fully deal with it in that moment. Now you have PTSD, and that's okay. So just take a breath and realize you've done it. You've done the worst part. You've gotten through that worst event. Now this is just the aftermath. Little pieces being picked up, but you got through the big bang of it. And I didn't think like that at all in the beginning. I thought, wow, I'm reliving the worst moment of my life over and over every day, and it's not getting better. And it's like, well, yes, it feels just as real as when it happened, but I got through it, which means even if it feels impossible, I'll get through this. So just remember to keep moving forward, and don't make yourself feel like you're a burden, or there's no reason it should still be on your mind or bothering you, because that's not true. It's a huge thing that affected you, and it's something that it's okay to feel lost or alone, or like maybe you can't do things right, because you're only human. That's normal. But it does get better. There are ways to move on. So just make sure that you validate yourself, validate your feelings and what you went through, and that way the past you can actually help the future you. Because I know rereading that, it just really was eye-opening for me. Because now all of the issues I'm thinking of are around what's going on in my life, and legal issues, and upset, and just wanting to be there for my kids and my animals, and that's about it. Whereas a couple years ago, oh my goodness, like my mind was all over the place in a different area. So seeing that those things a few years ago I thought I could never get through, I've gotten through, and they're not even a worry anymore. That's amazing. So maybe it looks negative now, but just validate your feelings, and it'll really help you in the future. I love you guys. Stay strong.